Today I want to talk about a topic that's been really heavy on my heart. Friends who suck dick straight out the ass. Anyways, I wanted to talk about being friends with someone who's obsessed with male validation, because I feel like that's such a canon event, to become friends with a woman who seems really cool, and then all of a sudden a man like joins in the dynamic, and all of a sudden they're like a different fucking person, and you're just like, damn. Like, it's just such a lonely and also just like such a annoying time to like lose a friend to a man. It's just like the most frustrating, annoying thing ever, because you're like, oh, you're so fake. You're so fake for that, bro. So yeah, I wanted to make a video on it for like just to rant, but also to show you the signs of someone who's like a male validating sucking biatch of a friend, because I feel like they also gaslight, like women who love male validation, they will gaslight anybody into thinking that they're actually a girl's girl when they're not, but like their biggest fear is to seem like they suck dick straight out the ass, you know what I'm saying? So like they don't want to look like they do, so they're like, oh, like I gotta save face right now, so they're like scrambling overtime, and they're like being like, you're so dramatic, like you're just jealous of what me and him have, and like all this stuff. They'll do anything to like protect it, and you start thinking you're crazy. You're like, am I being too hard on her? Am I jealous of what they have? No, you're not. Your friend is a brat. So like the first few bits of the relationship, right, like they start off great. I mean the friendship, they start off great, like they're such a good friend, they're so nice to you, they, you know, like they're such a good person outside of a man, you know what I mean? I feel like that's like the first sign of like a woman who is desperate for male validation. It's just like they're such a good person outside of whatever there's like a man involved, but as soon as a man is involved, the dynamic switches, you know what I mean? Like somebody who isn't obsessed with male validation, like they should stay the same whether or not a man is in your friendship dynamic or not. But a woman who's obsessed with male validation, like your whole friendship will change as soon as a man is involved. And that's like what happened to me. Is like my friend and I were so close, and we would talk about everything together, and then as soon as she like found a man, like a new man, because she was with someone who wasn't that great, and then she found a new man, immediately everything changed. Immediately, bro. So it's like that is such a huge sign. And it's also so sad, because you're like, I see what you can be like without, like, whenever a man isn't involved, like you have so much potential, but as soon as you get to a little bit of testosterone like flowing into your face, you're like, what can I do to ruin all the women's lives in my life? Like, what can I do to make them so miserable? What can I do to piss them off? What could I do to be the fakest bitch to ever exist? So the first sign that I noticed was they started to throw me under the bus, right? So like if their man had a problem with like something, they would be like, oh, well, I learned it from Hannah Faye. I learned it from Hannah Faye. Like I would never do that. It's just that like Hannah Faye like kind of like I just started learning it from her, but like I won't do it anymore. But like it's just because I learned it from her. Like I've been spending so much time with her that like, you know. Or like I had a literal example of this is like we went to go watch her man practice for like some fuck ass event. He's an athlete, and we went to go watch him, and we both waved, and he said it was really embarrassing, and it embarrassed him in front of all of his teammates that we waved. And she was like, yeah, I got mad at her for that. Like I got mad at her for waving already, and it will never happen again. Like we'll never wave again. And I was like, what? I was literally appalled. I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, what the dog are you talking about right now? But anyways, I remember like she was with this other man before she got with like her recent man. She was with this other man, and he was really, really a bad man, right? Like really, really, really bad. And he would yell at her, and I would be texting her like, he's a bitch, like just break up with him and stuff. And she'd be like, stop telling him, stop saying bad things about him, that's why he's mean to me in the first place, is because you're my friend. And I was like, oh, so he's mean to you because of me? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes total sense, bitch. And yeah, and like he would say like really, really bad things about me, like her old man. He would say really, really bad things about me, and she would let him. that's like the biggest sign ever, I feel like, is if your friend who's a woman lets her man or other men talk shit about you, who is their friend, their best friend, who is always there for them, and they let men talk badly about you so the men will still like them. Oh, that is a bitch. That's such a bad friend, bro. The second thing is that you will start to feel a lot of resentment towards them, okay? Because for me, like with my friends, I'm always so supportive. I'm always there for them. I'll always be there for you, bitch. Like, if you're my friend, oh, I'm there for you, right? And I feel like whenever you're friends with someone who's obsessed with male validation and is such a pick-me, they're not there for you, they're there for men, right? So like if you need them at a certain time, like I remember like every single time my friend, like my pick me friends would call me, right, and talk to me, it would always be about a man, but I would listen and I'd be like, you know what, like you're better than they are, like you need to like cut things off with them, like you're wasting so much time with them, like, and I would always listen. It would be the same thing over and over, bro, about the same boy problem, but I would just listen for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, but the same thing that was so avoidable and so changeable and whatever. But I would just listen because I cared about them. And then the minute I would text them or call them about something, they'd be like, I'm actually with my man right now. The same man that they'd be shit talking, they'd be like, I'm actually with my man right now, or I'm actually with a man right now, so I have to call you back. Yeah. And one time my friend literally, let's just call him Parker, her man Parker, my friend was like, this is actually Parker time. This is my Parker time. So I'm actually gonna have to call you later if that, like, it's my Parker time. And I was like, oh, like, I don't think you want to try me right now, babe. Like, not today, babe. So yeah, you like put, like, you'll start feeling like you put a lot more into the friendship. Like you're putting your effort into your friend, and then your friend is putting that same effort into a man instead. A man that, like, the thing is that a lot of these pick-me's that I've been friends with, it wasn't like years and years of a good relationship that they were feeding into. It was like a man that they met like 2 days ago, and they're putting more effort into that 2-day man than me, who's been friends with them for like 5 years or like 6 years. And like that's what really is like the biggest sign ever, that your friend is for the men. And like also you'll start feeling like, am I doing too much? Like, can she not live up to what I'm doing? Like, am I embarrassing myself by putting so much effort into this friend? No, you're never doing too much, babe. Like, if somebody is like making it seem like you're doing too much, then they gotta find a friend who's too little and who will not be there for them ever, and they've got to go through a shitty friend to realize how good of a friend you were, because, or they got to even go through like a mediocre friend, because no, bitch. The actual biggest thing ever for me was realizing that I can never compete with the man. When you're friends with a pick-me, when you're friends with a woman who is obsessed with male validation, you will realize that you're never ever going to be able to like live up to what a man will in their mind. And I never wanted to compete with the man. Like, I was never like, oh, I want to win her over, I want to be better in her eyes than this man, because I don't want to compete for anyone's validation. Because if I'm having to compete with someone else, then you're not choosing me, you're choosing, like, you're not actually picking me because you want to pick me, you're just scared to lose me, you know? And like, you're not even scared to lose me, you're just scared of losing the things that I provide for you. And it's like, and recently, like, I brought it up to her because like for a long time I was just like, okay, like, she's with a really bad man right now, like, after this man, like, after I get her through, like, out of this relationship with this like really bad man that she had, like, things will change, you know? But it didn't. It got worse because she jumped straight into a relationship with another man, and all of her problems with the past man got pulled into her new relationship, and she put so much time into him, and she became so obsessed with him, and it was just like Parker, and it was just like so annoying. I got mad at my pick-me friend one time and was like, listen, like, you're obsessed with men, and this is really, like, I want to be your friend, bro, but like, this is really hard for me to watch me come second to every man in your life. Like, it doesn't matter if it's been a 5-year relationship or a 2-day relationship, like, the men will always come first. Like, there should be no reason why a man that you just met is you're prioritizing over me, who you've known for like years and years and years now. And she was crying, and she was like, well, you're making me feel bad for like, you know, like making a relationship with men and like finally being happy because I have a good man in my life. And I'm like, and I asked her, I was like, why does your happiness always have to come from a man? And she went like silent, like literally silent. And she was like, you're just jealous of everything that like you're just jealous that I have like men that want me. And I was like, bro, more men approach me than they approach you. But that's not the topic of this conversation. The topic of this conversation is that you are obsessed with male validation, bro. But after I brought that up to her, she didn't talk to me for days. You know, and then days turned into like literal weeks where like we didn't talk because I got mad at her about that. And she reached out to me 3 weeks later and she's like, are we good? And I was like, honestly, like not really, because like you know how I felt. And whenever I brought it up to her, she was just gaslighting me. She was like, well, like I'm gonna let you feel how you feel, like and she was like, just stop complaining about it and blah blah blah. Like she was not validating me at all when we were talking about it. And I was like, and then so yeah, whenever she messaged me like, are we good, I was like, not really. Like you didn't reach out to me ever after that. And like you, every single time a man has crashed out on you, you have tried so hard to resolve it immediately. Like she's told me so many times that she has anxious attachment style, and I don't want her to have an anxious attachment with me, but I've seen her try to resolve so many issues with men to this day. And it's like, as soon as there was a problem with me, it was like too much. Like I was drama and I was like whatever. And like, it was just like, I didn't exist anymore. And she was like, well, like, I was like, if you want to talk about it, I'm open to talking about it. And I told her that 3 times. And then she texted me back. She said, I can't. And I was like, you have literally tried, like you have gone out of your way. You've driven like an hour to see a man before to fix things, and you're not willing to drive 15 minutes for me. Like that's really telling to me. And I also realized that like I will never be able to be there the same way that a man can, because I could say something a million times. Like whenever she was with her in a relationship with a bad man, probably 3 years straight, I was trying to get her out of that relationship. 3 years every single day. I tried to get her out. She met this man, and he told her like, I will be your man and I will treat you better. Get out of that relationship immediately. She dropped everything. She just stopped talking to that man that she was with. The man fixed her issues in probably a day, whereas I couldn't for 3 years, because she does, like, not only me, she had a million other women in her life. Her mother, her sisters, her other friends, everybody, all the women were telling her, get out. The one time a man tells her to, immediately she's like, you're gonna take care of me instead? Oh, perfect. Fuck all the other women in my life who have tried so hard, who have stressed and lost sleep over my relationship. Like, perfect. Like, you were gonna take care of me? I'm in. And it's like, bro, like, I can't with you. And another sign was that they become so insecure. The minute a man complimented me, she would bring up the one time that a man complimented her. I've only been with her one time where a man complimented her. She would bring it up. There's been like probably like 7 times where we're together where a man came up to me. She was like, yeah, but remember that one time that a man came up to me? And like one time I told her that this guy like waved at me and said I'm pretty, and she was like, oh, like if he thinks you're pretty, you should have told him wait until you see her best friend, which is like, she's implying that she's prettier than me. And if I were to bring it up to her, I know that she would tell me, I didn't mean to say that. That's what she always says. Whenever I say like, you said some pick-me-ass shit in front of that guy, she's like, I didn't mean to say that. That makes it worse. That makes it worse, because that means that you weren't consciously saying that, but subconsciously you think that you're better than me. You think that males like you better than me. I don't give a shit if males like me or not, bruh. Like, I don't care. But the fact that you think that you are better than me, or you think you're prettier than me, oh, we have a problem with that for sure, babe. For sure we do. And the last thing, which is probably one of the most important things to remember, is that a pick-me will never admit that they're a pick-me. I wanted her to admit so badly that she's a pick-me. Why would they do that? Why would they admit that shit? No one's gonna admit that. That is, like, if you call out a racist as a racist, they're not going to admit that they're racist. If you call out a narcissist and say that they're narcissistic, they're not going to admit that shit. A pick-me is not going to admit that they're a pick-me, bro. I remember I, like, brought it up to her, like, I really hate the new dynamic with this new man that you have. Because it's only been like 2 days and you're prioritizing him more than anybody else in your life right now, and you're like, I have supported you so many times and now I need support and you're not there. And she's like, I think you're just jealous because someone's taking up your time. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, that's definitely not what I'm saying. Like, you can be friends and have people around you, whoever you want. That's fine. I don't own you. But what I'm saying is that it feels fucking horrible that I was there for you all the time and now you're gone because you found a new man off the streets. Like, that just feels wrong. And I don't appreciate that. And the fact that you're telling me that I'm jealous because of that is demonic, honestly. It's evil. Bad friends can still do good things. Like, they don't exist independently. Like, just because you're a bad person doesn't mean you can't do good things, and just because you're a good person doesn't mean you don't do bad things. Just because you're a bad friend doesn't mean you don't do good things, and just because you're a good friend doesn't mean you don't accidentally do bad slip-ups sometimes, you know? Like, but you prioritizing men constantly before women does make you a bad friend, unfortunately. So if you're in a situation like this, I genuinely wish you the best. Like, this is all that the advice that I could, like, literally give you is just to bring it up and be like, bitch, I don't appreciate this behavior. And if they're like trying to put it onto you or be like, just to gaslight, and those are like signs of gaslighting, just like making it your fault all the time or saying that you're jealous and stuff, you gotta walk away, because it's gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse. You're gonna get so annoyed. You're gonna try to fight for the attention. It's just like, bro, she doesn't want to be saved. Don't save her, bro. It's not worth it. Go find friends who actually deserve you. But yeah, that was the video. I hope that you feel less lonely, because I know that having, like, losing a friend or losing a friend to the pick-me epidemic is like one of the saddest things ever, and it feels so lonely and so invalidating. So yeah, I hope that this brings at least some comfort. But yeah, bye. I remember, like, I would literally spend hours and hours and hours and days and months just listening to their male problems all the time, or just any problem. And the minute that I would have a problem, they would be like, I'm actually with a guy right now. Yeah, this is my Sam time. Like, Sam is their, like, friend, I mean their male friend or whatever. They're like, or their, like, new prospect, and they're like, yeah, I'm actually with Sam right now, so I'm gonna have to call you back. And I'm like, I'm actually dealing with something that's really hard right now, and I've been there for you through really hard times, and actually, like, times that you could have dealt with this alone, but I was always there for you. And realizing that a man is more important to you than me actually really sucks.